action. Okay, first cone's a little wiggly. Push it down to a cone, stupa shape, bullet shape. Taller cone. Pushing forward and pulling back. Switch my hand position, center the clay. Okay, so tall, narrow. Tall, it's not crazy tall, but it's a little taller than a normal shaped centerpiece of clay. Okay, hands on the inside, or just hands on that inside. Keep my wrist low, keep those fingers curled, and I'm going to use my left hand as the force, my right hand as the tool. I will pull back just a little bit with my right hand, just to open the clay up. Looks about right. I'll open it up to a width that I could actually get my hand into. Press the floor. Okay, I have all this clay out here. I need to get that up and in, so I'm going to use this part right here and that part right there. I kind of grab on and I lift with both hands. And the clay up and in. Very narrow hole. This one didn't quite get as tall as the bottle one did, but it'll be all right. Then I'm going to compress this top part because it got a little, it seemed like it was a little off center. So I just kind of, I hold on to this right here, and then I use like that part of my finger right there, right next to each other. And I can compress that rim. Okay, first pull is pretty aggressive. I'm going to grab onto that groove that's on the inside there. I'm going to push forward and pull back. Grab onto that clay. And then the top part of the cylinder ends up being finished thickness, so I don't have to pull through it when I thin out the clay at the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and shape my rim right now. Let's see, what shape do I want? Oop, turn it. I think I'm going to give it kind of a diamond shape. There we go. Make a groove on the outside. I'm supporting on the inside. I'm pulling back. I press down, up and under. This looks like one of those 70s pictures at this point. Grab on. That bump on the outside is exactly where my inside hand is. You'll see as I get closer to the top, it kind of gets smaller and almost disappears because I don't need to move that clay up. Last pull. When I first started throwing on a kick wheel, I was wondering how people got to the top of the cylinder without the wheel stopping. And I think it's like first starting out, you leave all that clay on the top and you're still trying to pull through all that clay. Even if my wheel stopped, I wouldn't have any clay to pull through because it's already the right thickness. So, if you have a really, really tall thing, then you have to like kind of hold your body still and kind of like actually kind of rest my knee here and kind of pull back with this foot to keep it going sometimes. I don't think I got quite as much out of this one as I did for the bottle. Kind of started out with that slightly shorter volcano. I can even move this foot in just a little bit if I wanted to at this point. Yeah, well. Up. If I want to get rid of the throw lines, I'm going to go across the throw line. So I'll go down 2. Okay, it looks like it kind of wants to be a shape right now, so we're going to work with that. I could color it in a little bit. Like what sort of proportions do you want? Do you want the top to be taller, or do you want the top to be a little shorter? Like, could do that kind of Venturi shape that I did previously. I don't know if I can. Maybe I could do that. I tried a couple more times to do that Venturi shape, and it didn't work out. It's like, first times, always the easiest for some reason. Maybe I'll just keep the shape down here and just do a shorter top. Because that's kind of what the shape wants to do right now, the format. So I'm just going to bring this out. And if you look at this carefully, you'll see that I have this kind of weird little bump that happens over here. That's because my pinky is actually pulling back on the clay, and that helps kind of expand it a little bit. Keeps it from going oblong. Right about there.
So can you show us outside the clay what your hand, how you,
on the inside?
yeah, what
It's
your
like
hand's doing on the inside?
it's like this, and this is kind of pulling back, and these fingers are kind of dragging on the clay, and I have the ribs are actually at a right angle to each other, okay, but they're a 45-degree angle to the clay, so. The clay is kind of like that middle 45-degree thing. I don't know if that makes any sense.
So is it sort of that your pinky is bringing it out and your ribs are shaping it?
They're all kind of bringing it out. The pinky just kind of helps keep it from going oblong. I don't know if that makes sense. Put that a little further. At this point, I'm really extending that rib, kind of maxing it out, so I can't really get my pinky to do the thing that it was doing before, but the clay is stretched to a point where it'll just kind of stretch however I want to do it. Okay. I'm just going to add a little water to the shoulder here. Make sure there's no water on the inside. I want to bring the shoulder into about this width here. So I'm going to do the same thing I did with the bottle. I'm just going to bring that in a little bit. Bring it up. It could be done, but it needs a little bit more shape. Okay. So I'm just going to look at it. Yeah. Okay. I don't want to go too much narrower. If you're making a vase, if you want it to be like a true vase, then I think the definition is you want to have the shoulder and the waist down here to be about the same as the foot. If you go too much narrower, then it's going to be a bottle, which can be a vase too. You know. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of have my inside finger is gonna be a little bit over my outside finger, and I'm just gonna kind of bring this up and out. Just gonna fold it over that finger there. I'm gonna bring this in just a little further there. There we go. Let's thin this out just a hair. I know, could have got a little bit more out of it, probably. Just kidding. Somebody grab me one of the decorating discs, please.
Are they the same?
Give me the odd one this time. I usually do even. Usually do 6, but maybe I'll do 5 on this one, just for fun.
Did you say the odd one?
Odd. Actually, first things first here. Make the foot. Removing a little bit of clay, but the purpose really isn't to remove clay, it's more just to push that clay in. Oop, lift it up. If I could put it in just a little bit more. Got a little chunk of stuff there. Okay, I got it. Gonna bring that in. Functionally, for something like this, if it goes out, when you put the flowers in, the flowers just kind of like the foot kind of the bottom of the flower kind of creeps up, and then the flowers just go. So if you have something at the bottom to hold it, then they'll stick fairly straight up. So that's why I bring that in. Finish the shape here. Once I do the lip, it's not really gonna be able to do too much more shaping. All right, so now put this on top. Okay, it wants to bend, so I'm gonna flip it over. Okay. So this is the odd one. I'm gonna do 5. So I just look for the number 5 all the way around. 1, 2. The great thing about kick wheel is it's a banding wheel that you can control with your foot. Okay, so now I have the little spots there. To give it the scalloping, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold on either side with my left hand. I'm going to hold the stick in my right hand. Notice I marked it with a round point. If you mark it with a needle tool, it's going to split when you try to do this. So I'm going to start with a low angle. I'm going to bring it up. Try not to mark the neck, which I did.
You're doing it at the places where you made the little points.
Correct. And then I can go through, just kind of support the lip, bring that the rest of the way down. Clean that up.
That's a chamois?
That's a chamois. Yeah.
Where do you get those?
In the sinks.
Okay. Where do we get those?
Yeah. In the recycled clay. Auto parts store.
Okay, so that's a leather chamois?
It's a leather chamois. You can get them at the auto parts store, and it'll come as a ginormous chamois. Like it's like
Yeah.
this big.
Yeah.
And then you can just use it for your car afterwards or whatever. Or you can go to the art supply store and go to the charcoal section, and you can get like a 2x3 or a 3x4 or whatever.
And those work.
Same price as the giant.
For the same price as the giant hand.
Yes.
Yeah.
And those work better than the fake leather ones.
Yeah, you want the real leather. Some people use pieces of plastic. I've tried the plastic before, but I really like the actual chamois. No, just set it right next to it.